Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. John Henry Soto here. This is where film meets music, industry updates, and the craft behind the scenes. This is your backstage pass to the art you love. Welcome to the show. As always, my name is always the same. It's John Henry Soto. And I'm always talking about film, music, industry updates. And these updates are by The Dailies, which is a publication online. And you can check it out for yourself. Readthedailies.com and sign up for a membership. It is free, actually. You get the updates on Monday. It's a subscription. You get the updates on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's a very quick read. It's about a 5 to 10 minute read, depending on your reading level. And you get to figure out what's happening in the industry. And if you're in film, if you're an actor, if you're a musician, if you're in anything having to do with entertainment, it's great to know what's happening in the industry behind the scenes. So that's why I do these updates. So you don't have to, and I can help you with this. If you want to do it on your own, you could totally just knock that out on your own just by going to, and I'll flash it on the screen here. Just go to readthedailies.com and get yourself signed up. All right, so let's get started this morning. I tell you, do you guys remember dialing 777 film and that guy comes up, hello and welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the name of your film, enter the first 3 letters of the film. And that whole process, that was how we actually found out where films were, if anybody remembers that. Well, there's actually they're dusting off the landline skills because Movie Phone is back from the dead. And this time Peter Dinklage's Toxic Avenger is answering the phone. This is a latest marketing stunt, obviously, for the upcoming reboot. Fans can call it's not 1-800, it's 1-802-377-film today and get Toxic himself reading showtimes and reenacting trailer scenes. That sounds fun, isn't it? Anyway, that was just a little tidbit that I wanted to say this morning because, film industry has changed so drastically, and that's one of those things that we kind of like didn't need anymore, and it wasn't really a big public announcement that we don't do that anymore, that we don't call up 777 film, and it was just a fun thing to do, and now it's very nostalgic to think about it, and so I might call up just to kind of get it. I don't know if I'm going to watch Peter Dinklage's Toxic Avenger. Maybe I will. He's one of my favorite actors. So maybe I will check that out but I definitely will call it just to kind of hear how it goes and how it's set up, because that'd be a lot of fun. So anyway, welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, so we're going to. It's not Monday, so normally I do this on Mondays. My son is starting school, and we've been he's starting this morning, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to wrap up the show and then just take him to school. But I had to do a lot of things yesterday morning and get started with some other stuff. So I'm doing a Monday on Tuesday, if that's okay with everyone. Monday means fresh box office numbers. So we're going to go over the box office numbers, the weekend industry news, and unpack it. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back for a second there for a couple of minutes, and we're going to go over this. Let's go over some of the box office for the weekend. How was that? So at number 10, we still had, hanging strong, by the way, is How to Train Your Dragon. So hanging strong, it's done $135 million domestic and $260 million total domestic. Now the Smurfs at number 9 did a $1.7 million domestic. It was down by 68%, and total is a $28 million domestic total. Now that did not do what they had anticipated for it to do, but there you go. I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's on its 3rd week. It did 2.6 million domestic on the weekend and 29 so far domestic total. The F1 movie with Brad Pitt, huge success. Did a 4 point. It's at number 7. The F1 the movie. Four. It's at 6 weeks. 4.1 domestic, down by 35%. Is $173 million domestic worldwide. Oh no, domestic. I'm sorry, and it just became the highest grossing film ever, beating World War Z. Hmm. I gotta check that out. I don't know. Is that true? The Brad Pitt's drum became his. Okay, I missed the his part. I was like the highest grossing film ever. I was like, no, it's not. It's his highest grossing film ever, which is amazing. Brad Pitt is a freaking icon. The guy is unbelievable. So here's number 6. The film Together, 6 point domestic. It's a brand new film. It opened at number 6. It did $6 million domestic, and by Wednesday it did and it's $17 million. Oh no, the Neon paid $17 million for his body horror movie at Sundance. Critics loved it, 91%, but audiences gave it a C+. Not bad for Neon, but nothing like their Oz Perkins movies. Long Legs opened to $22 million. Jurassic World Rebirth, might as well be reboot also. Week number 5, $8 million domestic, down by 34%. $317 million domestic, and $766 million globally. So reaching close to $1 billion. Superman is hanging tight, flying high at number 4. It's week 4. It's 13.9 million domestic weekend, down by 44%. 316 domestic total, and 551 global $1 million globally. DC's latest holds steady, closing in on Batman's 2022 $369 million domestic, and I think it's going to beat it simply because it's only at number 4 right now, and it's at week 4. It's probably going to be up there for maybe at least another 2 weeks, and it's going to probably gross another $10 million in the next couple of weeks. And so it's got about $40 million approximately to catch up to the Batman film from 2022. So I think it's going to make it. At number 3, opening up at number 3 was The Naked Gun. It was the reboot from, if everybody remembers, Leslie Nielsen's um, film, and now it's Liam Neeson's. So it's kind of like, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but it's kind of an L and an N and L and an N. Opened up at $17 million domestic. I heard it was very, very funny and a lot of fun, and I love it. I'm going to be talking more about that tomorrow, specifically about the comedy genre and how how this may actually turn it around. I think people want to laugh. I mean, look at there's so much seriousness in all these films that we've done. I mean, Superman, it's fun, but it's serious. The F1 movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer. The Smurfs, I guess, are kind of fun. Didn't do well. How to Train Your Dragon, it's a fun kind of thing. But funny, comedies. That was really great to see that opening up at number 3. Liam Neeson's comedy got great reviews, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and opened in line with projections. It's also Nielsen's best solo opening in 10 years. More on this below. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, actually. Number 2 is The Bad Guys 2. 22, it's a brand new, if opened for the first time, brand new. $22 million domestic opening, 44 globally debuted. DreamWorks sequel matched the 2022 original. Not great when you're hoping for franchise growth. This is the first sequel to an animated movie that launched after COVID. And unlike Moana 2 and Spider-Verse, 2 years of kids watching it on streaming didn't translate to bigger theatrical demand. So it didn't do what they expected it to do, but maybe the fact that it's number 2, it may get some good word of mouth, and it may actually do well on week number 2. At number 1 for the this week, this of the weekend, is the Fantastic Four: First Steps. Weekend number 2 had $40 million domestic over the weekend, but it was down 66% from the following. So it's $198 million domestic total, and 368 globally. Marvel's latest took a huge tumble in week 2, right in line with other MCU flops like Quantumania, Quantumania, that was down by 70% after the second week, and Captain America 4, I didn't even know there was a Captain America 4, was down 68% on the second week. Good reviews didn't help much. At least it's already beaten every previous Fantastic Four movie. The best only made $333 million worldwide back in 2005. Different times, ticket prices are higher though, so we have to look at that. We have to look at inflation. So maybe it did bring in that much more, but I'm sure the film costs more than the one from 2005, which was 20 years ago. And I'm sure the ticket sales were lower to buy a ticket for a film 20 years ago. So when you do the math, that's not really a great thing. So those are the 10 films. The big picture really is the weekend total was $123 million for the weekend. That was down 27% from last year. Fantastic Four's front-loaded performance suggested it basically just played to the Marvel faithful and then crashed. It may have been too soon to declare superhero fatigue after the Superman's success. Turns out audiences are picky about which heroes they'll pay to see. Summers hit $3 billion at the box office, but we're still way behind pre-pandemic levels. So we're still catching up. We still need more films. We still need you guys out there, any filmmakers that are out there, to start writing those scripts and sending them in and start shooting your films, whether it's a short film, whether it's a long film, whether it's a feature, whatever you want to do, just a sizzle reel to promote a bigger film that you're trying to get funding for. Whatever it is, we need to get out there because we need to try to get back to before the pandemic. Numbers are down. They've been down since then, obviously. They are way better. I think a lot of films like the F1 film, the Maverick, the Tom Cruise Maverick and the Mission Impossible kind of really helped a lot. And there's which one? The Sinners also was a great success. All these films in the last couple of years, have really been able to get those numbers up for Hollywood and just for the industry in general. And remember when I was talking about this with a buddy of mine yesterday. When we're talking about Hollywood, there's this weird negative thing about Hollywood, right? Oh, they're making all these reboots and they're doing all these sequels, and yeah, you're right, they are. They need to try to survive, and these films are make a lot of money. Now they want them to make more money, obviously. So they've learned, I think, their lesson the last few years, where they went very, very woke on a couple of things and didn't do well. It was forced. If it's an organic thing, audiences are going to know. Audiences are smart. If it's organic. If it's a forced premise or forced characters that have to kind of be together, even though they don't look like that you would think that they'd be together, it may to the untrained eye, you may think, oh, that's good. That person looks like me. I'm going to go watch this film. That person looks like me. I'm going to go watch this film. And then you get people coming in to the seats, right? But it never really fully works as a film, as a film, maybe that a legacy film, a film that's going to be talked about in 20 years, right? Because that's not really what they're interested in, because Hollywood has become more commerce. It hasn't become, it used to be film lovers. People that loved films were in Hollywood making films. So if you go back and you watch some of the greatest films of all time that were produced out of those studios, you'll see that the difference is the passion and the love of the filmmaking is so prevalent in the films themselves. They feel, when you watch them, they feel like they were made by people who love them, and not people that are like, hey, check this out now. You're gonna like this, right? You're gonna love this. Check this out. Look what we did. Look at what we did. Pay money for this, please. Please pay money for this and watch it. And it's not working. People are not fooled. People are pretty experienced in film watching now. You know, we've got 100 years of watching films. We got a blockbusters. We got at least 30 years of summer blockbuster films, worldwide global numbers, right? That started with, Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible movies. That wasn't a thing. Global numbers. Like now, I'm always giving global numbers before, right? People go to other countries and promote their films. That wasn't a thing until that. So it's not that long ago that we started really experiencing the film world. We're still young, if you can believe it. We're still young in the film world. So I think it's important for us to understand that Hollywood, we need to root for Hollywood. We need to support Hollywood, the systems. And I know people are rolling their eyes saying like, oh, you're just part of the problem or whatever. No, I'm not talking about the storytelling. The storytelling needs to improve. We need to have some original films out there, like Sinners was a great original film. Some of the films that won the Academy, Honora was an original film. And we need more of those. We need more independent films. There's a lot more studios opening up across the country that are producing films. People are realizing they can invest their money into a film and make some money. There are people who are not into film, or I should say they love films, but they're not filmmakers. They're businessmen, lawyers, and dentists, different doctors, different people, investors, VC people that just have money to spare, venture capital people, right? And they're willing to put their money there into these projects. We just have to find them. But you need to build a house, a production house, and you have to have projects. You have to have writers. You have to have creative viewpoints. You have to have something that's going to get people, wow, that was amazing, or that was life changing. That all the effects were incredible. Whatever the thing is, we still need this, and we need Hollywood to do well. So when we are bashing Hollywood, and I've been in that same boat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I have not done that. I've done that, but I realize that we should not. It's the opposite. We need to be supporting Hollywood. We need to be pushing Hollywood. We need to be making our own films and getting connected with studios that are locally and figuring out how we can help them. How can we help make better films? How can we, produce better content? I think it's so important for us to do that. We're still way behind pre-pandemic levels, and we need to get back to where we were. It's 20. I mean, think about it. We're 27% down from last year, so we're not even at last year. Forget about pre-pandemic. We're trying to catch up to last year. So summer films, I don't know what else is coming. Blockbuster, I'll have an update on that later on this week on what's coming up and what films we can look forward to and how we can keep our fingers crossed that they do well at the box office. Because when those films do well at the box office, we all do well in the industry. The industry gets a little bit of a boost. People are starting to like film again. People that go around saying like, oh, I hate Hollywood, they just aggravate me. Well, they're not really into film. They're just into spectacle, and they think that spectacle is going to get them. No, but there's small films being made right now that are beautiful films, that are fantastic films that we can really explore. And that's really what we have to kind of focus on and be able to put our money behind and give that extra boost that we need so we can actually get back to pre-pandemic levels and beyond that. The industry is still growing. I know it sounds crazy, but because of technology, I mean, look what I'm doing right now, right? I'm live right now in Nashville, coming to you, presenting this content, basically, for very, very little money, So technology has gotten improved. We're able to connect more. Film wise, technology, you can buy film equipment for a lot cheaper. You can get used equipment that's Hollywood standard equipment. So everyone, the playing field has been leveled as far as technology is concerned. You can shoot with your iPhone, and you can shoot and you can edit on your laptop, right? Um, Now we have to focus on the stories. Storytelling is really what's key. It's not the spectacle anymore. And I talked about this on a show a couple of weeks ago, that we've become so desensitized to the special effects. We see people flying. Remember the first time you saw Superman flying, Christopher Reeves, in the 70s, in late 70s, when Superman came out? That was like, it was so smooth and he was flying. It was like, oh man, it blew me away. I was just so amazed at the tech, the special effects. It was fantastic. Even till this day, it still holds up. You don't see him swinging or anything. It was just done very, very, very well. So, but now how long ago was that? 40 years ago? We've seen everything. I mean, Marvel did it all, right? I mean, those Marvel movies did every special effects, everything that you can imagine. They were fantastic films. I enjoyed them. My son, my son loved all those films, and we watched them together, and my daughter as well, and my wife. We all enjoyed these films. So now we kind of understand that it can be done. We know how it can be done. Superman can be we're going to be like, wow, that was cool, but it's not shocking anymore. It's not like Tom Cruise flying off a cliff on a motorcycle, or hanging off a plane, or a helicopter, or doing whatever crazy thing he's doing. He's really doing that stuff, right? That's what really gets people also interested. I don't think that's going to be the direction that people are going to go in, where people are going to risk their lives like a Tom Cruise. But I do think that storytelling has to be more prevalent in these stories in Hollywood, and just in general. People want to hear a good story, and there's stories everywhere. When you're driving, look at people. Every single person there has a name and a story. Some of the stories may be similar. We went to school, we had a rough family, but I guarantee you that every single person has a unique thing to their story that you can actually take and you can build on, and you can tell a wonderful story. So stories are out there. It's not that. It's the fear of if the fear of telling an original story and not making money. They're so comfortable with how, I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Smurfs, How to Train Your Dragon, Jurassic Park, Superman, The Naked Gun, The Bad Guys 2, The Fantastic Four. Think of all those films, right? Which one was original? I mean, it's like, Together, the only one, it opened at number 7. So there's a lot of fear that we need to have something that people already recognize, so they'll shell their money out, because they already understand what Superman is. They know what Naked Gun is. They know what Jurassic Park is, and they'll pay their money for these things. So that's what we're up against. That's what we're battling against. So, all right. Well, there you have it. Tomorrow I'm going to talk more about the Naked Gun series and just comedies in general. So please join me for that. I hope you're all doing well out there. It is Tuesday. Get out there. If you're a filmmaker, do something today. Move the needle forward every single day, even if it's just writing down an idea, a one-liner, anything that comes up. Keep moving forward. It's important for us, for the industry. And storytelling is biblical. It is legendary. It is historic. We've been telling stories to motivate and to help us for centuries and centuries. It's going to continue, and you can be part of it. I am part of it, and I want to continue to grow in the industry. And I'm looking forward to all of you and your stories as well. Please message me. If you have any questions at all, you can email me at john@jhstalentmanagement.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. God bless you all. And as always, peace.